So tonight we're gonna be making cube steak. I have cube steak, I have potatoes to make homemade mashed potatoes. We're gonna do like a homemade garlic mash. We also are going to be making a Caesar salad to go with it, and I'm looking forward to it. I'm so hungry right now. So let's go ahead and get into it. Let me real quickly first though walk you guys through all of my ingredients, and then we will start cooking. So you are going to need garlic. It does not have to be minced, but I prefer the minced garlic. I get this from Kroger. I believe Meijer and most of the major large chain grocery stores offer this. Also, I'm using butter, unsalted butter. I like to use the onion soup mix, so I get this one, as you can see, from Kroger, and I use this to basically create the gravy, as you will see in a moment. We have our black pepper, our Lowry seasoning salt, we have our garlic powder, all-purpose flour, sweet onion, green pepper, and then I have my cube steak that I get from the butcher. If you guys want everything, I will have it in the description box. You can screenshot this as well as the recipe so that you can take this with you to the grocery store and get everything that you need. So I'm gonna go ahead and start the water boiling, but I'm not going to put the potatoes in there until I have my cube steak already cooked and I've started the process of marinating them in the gravy. I'm also gonna start heating up this water here that I'm gonna use to make my gravy. So basically it's just half a teapot, and we're gonna get this boiling, so as we start to create the gravy, we have some really hot water to get it started. We're gonna take out the steak. If you're not familiar with the cut of steak or the cut of ground beef this is, cube steak looks basically like it sounds, like it has these little cubes on it. Very similar to ground beef, but it's obviously not ground beef. So I just wanted to show you guys, if you're not familiar and you've never ordered this. If you only have ground beef, you probably could just use ground beef, but I like to get this particular cut of meat to do the steaks because it actually just comes out really good and it holds the flavor so nicely. And I'm just gonna use this paper to season because they don't really stick to it. This part is super easy. You're just gonna season both sides. I don't try to use a lot, like I just honestly wanna give a light coat of seasoning. Because we don't want it to be salty, but we definitely want it to be seasoned, okay? And then we're doing our garlic powder and then our black pepper. I love black pepper. I don't feel like you could ever have too much of this, so I just kind of grind it up. Go crazy, you know what I'm saying? Flip it. Tonight it's just me, Brian, and Amana, so I'm only doing 3 of these. Now, I'm not gonna use any oil to cook these because they will make their own oil. You can if you want to use some nonstick spray, whatever, but this cut of meat makes its own oil, so I don't add anything to the skillet when I'm cooking. Okay, so while that's going, we're gonna go ahead and cut our vegetables. So I'm gonna be using my Our Place knife. If you guys are looking for a really good knife to use for cutting, I highly recommend their knives. They are so bomb. I will have a link in the description box for the Our Place set. Like, I love their stuff, you guys. Definitely worth the investment, and as you can see, it cuts so nicely. Literally like cutting a stick of butter. I am cutting the potatoes in the cubes so they don't take as long to boil. Doing this cuts the cooking time down so much. So highly recommend cutting your potatoes if you can. As you can see, they're creating their own juice and oil and all that good stuff, so we're just gonna let these cook slowly on one side, and then we're gonna flip them over, and then once they're basically cooked all the way through, remove them from the skillet and leave all the juices and all that good stuff so I can make the gravy. I'm just gonna go ahead and cook these and get it out the way because I need this cutting board and I really don't have anywhere to put these. So we're just gonna cook them, and then when they're done, we'll cover them up so they stay warm. Okay, we're gonna pull these off and put them to the side, and then we're going to get our gravy started, the best part. So I am going to be using some butter. I like butter in my gravy. I feel like it adds a nice little touch. So I kind of work my way up with the butter, but I try not to go too crazy with it because obviously butter is not the best thing for you. But I'm using the unsalted butter because I feel like that helps a little bit to not be so bad. But obviously it's still butter. So let's go ahead and get a knife real quick. And we're just gonna start with like 1/4 of one of these sticks. Put it in here and melt that down. I'll turn this eye up just a little bit. I was cooking that on like low, just a little bit higher than low, like between medium and low. But I want to turn this up now so I can cook that down. And then we're going to take 1 spoon of the garlic. We're really only going to need to cook this garlic for probably like 30 seconds to a minute. Mine wasn't super hot when I added it, so I might need to do a little bit longer. But basically the whole point of the garlic, we want it to be fragrant. We want to be able to smell it, smell that amazing flavor. I love garlic, so I add garlic to everything. You don't have to add the garlic because once it's all the way done, you won't even really taste it that much. But I love it. I want my stuff to taste really flavorful, so I really like to use that garlic. And I'm starting to smell it, you guys. It smells fabulous. Yeah, that smells so good. So good. You can also mince the garlic yourself if you prefer fresh garlic. So now we're gonna pull out our Kroger. This is the Kroger onion soup dip mix. We're just gonna take 1 pack of this. There are 2 in a box, so you definitely get a value with this. And I just take 1 of these and we're gonna add this to the garlic. And we're coming right behind this with some boiling water, okay? I didn't do a ton. That was honestly probably about 1/4 a cup. But I'm just gonna start layering. So we've added that. And then I'm gonna take a clean spoon and grab a little bit of flour. Not a ton, but basically like almost a full spoon of flour. I'm gonna turn that eye up so it can be kind of hot. We're gonna add some more water. This is probably about 3/4 cup of water at this point. Somewhere between like 1/2 and 3/4 if I had to eyeball it. And then at this point, this is when I'm gonna add my onions and green pepper. And we're just gonna let that cook. Now, depending on your preference, you could have added the onion and green pepper and sauteed it with your garlic, but I personally like to do it with a little bit of gravy in it. But it's all up to you, okay? I honestly don't think it makes that big of a difference. These onions were really big at the store, so I think I'm only gonna use like maybe 1/4 of it. I don't think I want to put all of these onions in there. And most people don't put green peppers in theirs, but I like green pepper. I feel like it adds just a little bit more flavor to the gravy. It's funny, I'm not a huge green pepper person. Like, I don't eat green peppers on most of my stuff, but I will cook with it because I love the way it tastes cooked down. And we're just gonna cook this a little bit. And that looks so pretty. I'm gonna let this cook for a couple of minutes, and then once it does, I'm gonna start adding a little bit more of the flour, the water, so we can have enough for the cube steak. Okay, so it's really only been maybe like a minute, and you can see the onions are already starting to soften up. So I'm just gonna go ahead and add everything else. I'll move these to the side. So I have some room to work with, and we're gonna add some more water. At this point, I would assume that's about a cup and like 1 1/4 cup. I'm adding another 1/4 stick of butter, and then I'm gonna add basically my flour until I get the consistency that I want. I'm gonna do it over here on the side so I can make sure I break this flour up. Okay, so the last thing I'm gonna do over here is I'm gonna go ahead and add my cube steak back. I have turned down the eye to the lowest setting that I can, and then we're just gonna add these back one by one. And then I will cover it. Okay, so we're gonna cover this and let this simmer for about 20 to 25 minutes, checking it periodically between. Basically the goal here is I want the gravy to thicken up, as well as I want the cube steak to be super, super tender, because it is pretty much simmered and soaked up all the flavor and all the good stuff that's in here. And again, we're gonna keep checking it, just making sure everything is looking okay. And I have it turned down again to the lowest setting. Now we're back over to the mashed potatoes. So we're gonna go ahead and take these potatoes off of the eye, turn this eye off, and I have my strainer here that we will put these in the sink and just get them all the way together. When you take this off, you want to basically pour out almost all your water, but not all of it. Leave just a little bit, because you're going to use that to make your mashed potatoes really, really creamy. And then I'm adding the rest of the butter to the pan. Oop, not like that. Alrighty, so now I have some sour cream, and we are going to add a dollop of sour cream. I think that is actually the real term. My stepdad always says that. So we're gonna add a dollop of sour cream to the water with our butter, and then I'm also gonna add some of that garlic that we were using before. I think I'm actually gonna do 2 of these, just because those potatoes were really, really big. So now we're ready to put our potatoes back in here. I have my potato masher. Make sure you invest in a potato masher. These are so good to have. They really come in handy, and this is a really nice quality one. I don't know the brand though, but it's a really good quality masher. And as usual, we will add some more black pepper. I love black pepper, so I'm gonna add a lot. And then to keep the heat in, I'm just gonna cover this up and we're gonna slide this in the back. Okay, so we're making salad with this as well, so I'm gonna go ahead and cut my head of lettuce. Cut the little cork part off. And then we're gonna toss this part. Cut the rest of this. Let's see, how do we want to cut this? Right, so it's time to check the steak. It looks beautiful. You can hear it bubbling, you guys. Oh my gosh, it smells delicious. One thing I recommend is make sure you taste your sauce to make sure it's not too rich or it's not floury tasting and bland. Like, you want to make sure you're tasting it so that it's perfect when you serve it for dinner. And that is bomb. It is so good. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and plate this now that everything is done and show you guys what the finished product looks like. You guys, the moment of truth. Can you tell it's been such a long day for me? I've been up since 6 o'clock this morning. I worked all day, went and got the ingredients for this, and now it's time to eat. So let's go ahead and dig into it. My mouth is watering. It smells so good. Oh my goodness. You gotta have your mashed potatoes now. A little gravy, a little extra gravy. That is delicious. That's so good, you guys. The gravy is so good. Everything is delicious. Oh my goodness. This is very hearty, super filling, perfect for winter. Make sure you get your little cardio in during the day when you eat this. But this is so good. With that, I'm gonna go ahead and get up out of here so I can eat. Well, y'all gotta get up out of here so I can eat. But I really hope that you've enjoyed this video. I will have the description for everything I did in the description box, so you guys can try to make this yourself. I would love if you would come back and let me know what you think. Make sure you follow the instructions I gave you the first time if you've never done this before. It's super easy though, like you cannot mess this up. I mean, you can, but we don't want you to mess it up. So follow the instructions and then come back and let me know what you think. I always love to hear what your thoughts are when you guys do these recipes. It like legit warms my heart when you come back and tell me you like something. So try this out, come back and let me know. And if you have suggestions on ways to make it better, let me know that as well. But with that, I'll see you guys next time. If you haven't subscribed, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any more of my cooking videos. And with that, I will see you guys in my next upload. I'm about to get into it. So y'all don't gotta go home, but you gotta get the heck up out of here.